Hi, this is David Orlofsky, and welcome to the Parsha in 5, where in 5 minutes we try to give you an insight into the Parsha that hopefully you can use. A lot of Parsha's bow is taken up by the description of the Corban Pesach. And that's why people who have basically been doing pretty well with Chumash and Rashi till this point, this is the first real challenge that they have. The second one is Az Yashir. The third is Mishpatim, and then by Truma, they just give up altogether. But this is the first challenge a lot of people have, because it's all about the Corban Pesach, and people aren't that familiar with Korbanos. But the Corban Pesach is a unique Corban in a lot of different reasons, because it's one of the three major themes, as we know, Rabbi Gamliel says, we say it in the Haggadah, Pesach, Matzah, Umara. And Pesach is one of the important themes. Rabbi Moshe Shapiro pointed out once that at the very beginning of Vayikra, there's a machlekes between the Rambam and the Ramban, what the purpose of Korbanos are. And the Rambam says the purpose of Korbanos is to wean the Jewish people away from Avodah Zarah. And that's why the people and the peoples around us brought animals as korbanos, and so HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to us to do as well. The Ramban goes to town, brings a whole bunch of proofs. So Adam HaRishon brought korbanos, Noach brought korbanos. There was no Avodah Zarah at the time. So he is not happy with the Rambam's pshat. The Abarbanel gives a fine defense of the Rambam. This says Rabbi Moshe Shapiro, where the Rambam and the Ramban agree is by Corban Pesach. Corban Pesach was definitely to get the people away from Avodah Zarah. The Jews were living in Egypt, and the Egyptians worshipped sheep. That's when Yosef and his brothers come down, he says, tell them you're shepherds, because that's a to'eva to the Egyptians. It's disgusting. Why? Because this is their God. They don't want to see people who are dealing with their God. And the Kliyaka points out that Nisan is the month of the sheep, Aries, right? Or as we say in Hebrew, the Tleh, the mazel of that month. This is the month of the sheep. And because in Judaism, the zodiac sign goes by the lunar month, so the 14th and the 15th of the month is when the power of the month is at its strongest. And that's why he says we were commanded on the 14th to shecht it, and on the 15th to actually eat it. When the power of their God was the strongest, we had to turn our back. 80% of the Jews in Mitzrayim could not stand up to this Nisayon. They could not eliminate the Avodah Zarah of Egypt from themselves. And so they died in Egypt. But one of the reasons we celebrate Shabbat Hagadol is because that year of Yetzias Mitzrayim took place on a Thursday, which means that when they were told to take the sheep and tie it to their bed, it was on the 10th, which was Shabbat Hagadol. And the Egyptians hear all of the bleating from the homes of the Jews, not the bleeding, that happened on the 14th, but all of the bleating of the sheep. And they said, hey, that's interesting. Why do you have my God tied to your bed? And he says, oh, because I'm going to slaughter it and eat it. And the fact that the Egyptians didn't just kill them on the spot for that blasphemy is the nace of Shabbos Hagadol. But the miracle for the Jews were, are you ready to turn your back on the Avodah Zarah of Mitzrayim? Can you take their idolatry and shecht it and put the blood on your blood post so everyone knows about it? It has to be a public thing. And that's why the Sefer Chinuch says A lot of the reasons for the Corban Pesach is that it should be obvious. If you boil the meat, it'll fall apart. People won't know it's a sheep. You have to keep it whole, and you roast it. You can see what it is. You can't cut it up into pieces. Everyone has to know that you're eating a sheep. There's a big sheep on your Pesach table, so everyone knows that you are destroying the Avodah Zarah. And so the key to Geula for us in our days is to take all of the gods that our society worships, to slaughter them and turn our back on them as well. You can figure out what they are for yourself, I'm sure. Good Shabbos.